Jacob, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I was especially excited to talk to you as a Filipino American myself,
Yeah,
to
man.
get to chat a little bit about your journey getting to where you are now. And we've seen you grow up in the last few years from when you got casted, you were what, 20? Now
Like
you're
19. Yeah.
25.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy time.
It's been some time, so I'd love to like dive in and just to get
Yeah.
to know you a little bit more
Yeah.
for Cinema Blend. It's no secret that you, Tom and Zendaya, have formed a little tight knit family through your time in the
Absolutely.
MCU. You grew up together,
Absolutely.
really, and
Yeah.
you had kind of those like coming of age story for yourself.
Absolutely.
Why is that relationship or those relationships so important to you today?
I mean, I think the things that come with being an actor in big films like this is that a lot of things can be skewed, like your point of view of the world and society and how you're viewed as a person because you're so much seen in the public eye that you come under scrutiny almost every time you are seen. So I think for myself, because I've had them in my life to like really speak about it, to really, go through it with, that's been really important for us, traveling the world together and again, going through scrutiny together and also like winning and succeeding together. Like we've had all these great experiences together. And I feel like I'm so fortunate to have been going through with them because we just have this certain bond, like we've known each other for like 5 years now, and it's been such an amazing ride to have gone through this with such great people. I think people work with others that aren't as great and have to like force themselves to pretend to like each other on these press tours and stuff like that, and we're very lucky to actually love each other. So yeah.
I'll say this: I don't often see press junkets ending with two stars laying on top of each other. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, for
it
sure. We were definitely hitting a wall that day. It was so that was like we were like in the middle of like a whole press junket where we were like interviewed by like 50, 60 people in a row and it was like on Zoom. So it was definitely such a mess. But it turned out great because we obviously got the work done. We were exhausted.
now this is something that's been talked about for a long time, ever since the name Ned Leeds came up in the
Yeah.
MCU,
Yeah, yeah.
about the rumor that Ned will somehow
Yeah.
walk down the path of villainy. What can you share about that
Yeah.
rumored future? Is there any truth to
Uh
that? Do you want it to
I
happen?
I mean, personally, I feel like we have like really no say or control over what happens with our characters. I think that, we like certain ideas and we like certain rumors and all those things, but ultimately it's not really up to us. It's up to like the big heads in Sony and Marvel and things like that. So, would we like it to happen? I think that's a cool idea for sure. Do I hear all the rumors about it all the time, constantly in my life? Yes. Do people like constantly question whether or not I'm gonna be Hobgoblin? Yes. But I love the enthusiasm. I truly, truly enjoy the love that fans have because I know how much it means to them. So, I guess in that sense, hopefully, I mean, hopefully, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I guess I can't really speak more on it. But yeah.
When I saw the casting call that they were looking for Ned's Lola, my heart jumped a little bit. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Do we see Ned's family? Do we see his familia?
Gosh, I don't know if I can really speak on that too. I
Uh,
think that there definitely was. I feel like it was brought to my attention as well back in Hawaii. Like a lot of my friends and family showed it to me, and they asked me if it was real. And I guess we have to wait and see.
we gotta wait and see. I'll take it, man. I'll take anything you
Yeah, for
got me for
sure.
me. Now I know that you studied a little bit about you're looking to get into music initially, but
Yeah.
you had stated that you had backup plans for your career.
Right.
But I wonder, coming from an Asian family myself,
Yeah.
was there ever pushback of you wanting to pursue a life in the career field?
Yeah. I think for me it was pretty much out of left field. I think that uh, as you know, I feel like a lot of Filipino households have karaoke, and Filipinos love to sing. And so that's sort of where like my thing came from. But in terms of it becoming an actual career was sort of not really feasible in that like they wanted something practical. They wanted something where like there's a set path that you can follow so you can make sure that you don't fail. So you know I guess trying to have a job or like trying to be a creative in a Filipino family seems a bit unwarranted and a bit like you're disrespecting your family. So there was a lot of that type of energy, but obviously my family supports me and loves me, and they just definitely wanted me to try at least. And so when it came to the whole music thing, it was almost not not I'm not trying to say like it was like frowned upon or anything like that, but they were definitely like a little hesitant for me to like follow my dreams. But again, supportive family will be a supportive family. And obviously when I got this job, I feel like they were just happy that I wasn't like being a bum anywhere. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a lot of that. But now that they know it's like an actual career and things like that, they understand that uh, there's more to my life than just being on camera and like doing press tours or whatever. So um, I'm glad that they understand now. My mother kind of gets it, but she doesn't fully get the scope. But other than that,
I'm,
they get it.
I'm right there with you. Whenever I tell my
Yeah.
parents, it's like I got to talk to
Yeah,
XYZ
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's cool. How did it pay?" I'm just like,
yeah. That's all they look for. As long as you're not like starving or dying and you're making money, you're good. But they don't care about the details.
Yeah, I'm curious though, because
Yeah.
as you know, titas, aunties, they like to
Right.
flex a little bit.
Sure.
How do you
Sure.
get introduced at like family
Yeah.
events
Well,
and
my
stuff?
mom, my mom is not shy about bragging about me in Hawaii. Like my whole family, I feel like my aunties and my uncles, like they all absolutely love talking about me. I feel like I'm everyone's favorite child now. So so I know it's a huge deal. I literally feel so blessed. But yeah, I this is really funny actually. My nephew and my niece, they were going to this one school, and they I at this point I was like in Spider-Man, and so their teacher they were doing like a family tree thing, and their teacher was just like begging my nephew and my niece to like put me like to talk about me and like possibly put me on. And I thought that was so adorable because my nephews and nieces don't really get like why I'm like known like that. So that's like just a bit of like how different it is in Hawaii from my family it is now. So um, other than that, it's great. They love to talk about me. They love to brag about me all the time. Before it was the opposite, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's easy to brag about someone who has their own day dedicated to them.
Yeah.
July 7th.
Pretty
That's
cool.
pretty
It's
dope.
amazing.
Yeah, I was reading the proclamation there, and it said
Yeah.
that you're known to give back to your Pinoy community. What
Yeah.
is it, the Damien Memorial School and the Priory to
Yeah.
trace to encourage people to
Yeah.
chase their dreams, which I love. But
Yeah.
I do wonder for anyone who has found some success in the industry, when was the moment you realized that your career was impacting the Asian community in a bigger way?
I this is really funny because I feel like I didn't really feel it at first. I think that I only started to feel, I guess, impactful on the community after we came out with the movies and doing press and things of that nature. And I think that I feel like personally people thought that I was just going to be like another token character in the films and not necessarily have a bigger part. And so at the beginning I didn't really understand it. And then, as soon as people start messaging me about like being an inspiration and talking about how like they're being seen and represented and heard for the first time, it uh, that meant a lot. And I think since then I've absolutely understood that there's more to this sort of job than just being an actor. There's a sort of responsibility that you carry because, again, you're sort of being the person for everyone who's not seen and heard and understood. And I think that's really important. And I've sort of learned to accept that responsibility in the way that I was kind of just doing my own thing, not really grasping the idea that other people are looking up to me in that sense. So in that way, I feel like I absolutely I've changed my sort of perspective, and it's been great. I'm really proud and happy to be that person for everyone else.
Yeah, it's such a big deal, right? Especially within our community and it's even smaller subset of like Southeast Asian people.
Yeah,
We don't
right,
get a lot of great representation, so it's
right.
really cool to
Very true.
find a not only a character that's lovable, but also that's a celebrity that's like
Yeah,
doing the work to like,
absolutely.
spread the message. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When we think about Ned Leeds, he's obviously started out pretty like a nerdy guy, right? So maybe
yeah,
people don't see him to be the most fashionable fella. But
right.
when it comes to you, Jacob, you always come styling. You got a
Yeah.
drip going. What are the key
Yeah.
elements to
Yeah.
you to putting a good outfit together?
It's interesting. I've found that my style's become a bit more eclectic in that whatever I see, like it doesn't have to match anything or like have a certain style to it. Is if I like it, I'll just buy it and wear it. But when I do press tours and stuff like that, I'm lucky to have like a stylist to like help me out. Ashley's been really great setting these styles up for me. Like the suit that we wore in London, that I wore in London. I mean, I love that. I love that jacket. One thing that I will say about my style is that I've absolutely gotten into jewelry. That's like a new hobby of mine, and so that's really played a part in like what I wear and what I rock and everything. And again, like my girl and I are super into like street fashion. We really love shoes. I've been getting more into like some designer stuff. I just got a Montclair jacket that I recently found out like rappers wear. That's probably why it's so popular. So that's what I'm about. I feel like I'm really flashy. I get that from my mother. She's really all about high fashion for sure. And like my sister as well, like they're like all the females in my family are absolutely about that stuff. So that's probably where I draw it from mostly.
Dude, I love it. I always, whenever I'm on Instagram and I see your
Yeah,
posts or your stories,
yeah.
I was like, look at this man. He's flexing on all of us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Now, Ned is, like he started out as a sidekick, but now you have really come into your own. You're a leading man now. Congratulations on Reginald the Vampire. I'm really excited to see that come to fruition. Tell me, what about the project excites you most outside of being number one on that call sheet?
I think the most exciting thing for me is that it's definitely a different take on a very much stereotypical trope in that vampire things are usually broody and emotional and dark and deep, whereas our show, which is based on Fat Vampire by Johnny Truant, I think that they really place the humanity in Reginald, in that like vampirism is like I just think the whole idea of it is like very like outlandish and crazy, and the fact that people take it so seriously is it's kind of boring, and I think what makes our show so great is that we find the comedy and we find the drama in that. Like the compelling thing is that it's Reginald becoming a vampire, and in his world he thinks that thing is like vampires are fake. That's not real. Like that's just the story. There's no way you can be a vampire. And so the real thing we do with it is really really turn on its head, in that we actually poke fun at all the tropes. We actually make it our own, in that it's funny, it's heartwarming, and it's relatable, in that Reginald is probably he's just a regular guy who gets his time to shine, and that's a really big thing for me, being a person of color and being a person who may not be seen necessarily as a leading man. So I take all of that with stride. So
I do wonder if there's any weird Filipino or even Hawaiian superstitions that you grew up with that still stick with you today.
there's a lot of things that pertain to like spirituality that I am so wary of. Like I don't like that, and like my mom absolutely is how should I say this? She's very in tune with like spirits and like fortune tellers and shit like that. That's really rubbed off on me, because I am so superstitious of like certain people and certain energy and things like that, that I may not really I feel like it might be like biasly like kind of done in a way that I don't I feel bad about it. But I'm trying to think something specific. There's a lot of I've actually become vegan, and in Hawaii, there's a lot of things about respecting the Aina, which is the land, respecting nature, and not really defiling it in that sense. So, that sort of resonates with me. This is also really weird, but my mom has like a lot of Buddhist things that pertain to like money, like these like I don't know.
The happy gods,
like,
right?
Yeah, they're like yes, yeah, like money gods, and like I love that a lot of like Southeast Asian cultures like mix together like that. Like I really enjoy that. And this is another random thing not pertaining to like superstition, but I I find connection with people who like white rice, if that makes sense. Like, I really enjoy the idea that there's other people out there that enjoy just white steamed rice,
Mhm.
because it's like not a huge thing in the mainland. So that I love that. Like I have like a lot of friends who aren't Asian or Polynesian who just genuinely love white rice because their Filipino friends introduce them to eating it with every meal. It's tough because I know that like Asian food is basically just meat and like meat and carbs. So
Meat
like
and rice,
it's the
yeah.
it is it's definitely a different time. But um, there's a chef. Her name is ironically Chef Reina, which is my girlfriend's last name, which is really funny. But she lives out in San Francisco, and she actually makes vegan Filipino food. And
Oh,
she does like kits where she like sends it out, and you can just like heat it up basically. And she has like things like kare kare and like God, what else does she have? She has like sisig, and she has like adobo and oh my God, caldereta, which is all delicious. So I feel like I'm definitely gonna give that a shout for sure.
yeah,
And she
shout
also
out
makes
Chef Rain.
sandwiches, yeah. So
Yeah. I gathered the forces of Filipino Twitter for some fan questions for you. JB asked, what's your favorite Filipino dish?
my favorite Filipino dish, probably lauya.
Francis wants to know, have you introduced Tom or Zendaya to Filipino culture at all?
I mean they ask me about it a lot actually, and I do inform them about like the language and about the food and about the culture all the time. I think that they're very much interested.
Now, can you tell someone is Filipino before they utter a single word, and how? That's from George.
I guess speaking in generalities and stereotypes, I guess like the straight hair and like rectangle glasses and like the kind of rhombus nose. Uh,
What's your go-to karaoke song is another one. That's from Jezer.
oh, my go-to karaoke song is when I was growing up, my mom used to love making me sing "Only You" from Elvis Presley, and after that, it kind of became let's see, "Total Eclipse of the Heart," huge power ballad.
That's a big song.
Yeah, it's really like it takes a lot out of you after you sing
For
it.
sure. Now this one's for me. But I want to know, when if you were creating your food truck right now, or the
Yeah,
Batalon
yeah,
bodega, or whatever you
right.
want to call it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what are your must-have snack items that you got to keep stocked?
Probably. I mean, if we're, I mean, probably Musa Bees, Manapua, um, pork hash, all vegan versions, obviously. And then I guess for Filipino snacks, probably puto or oh my God, Spanish rolls or pandesal. So things like that for sure.
Last question, just to wrap this up. It's been an eye-opening year for a lot of us in the Asian
Sure.
community, and we dealt with a lot of Asian hate right at the top of the pandemic. Is
Mhm.
there any message that you'd like to give the community heading into the new year?
I feel like I'd like to say that really stay strong in your heritage and your culture. You know what I mean? You can't let people take that away from you, especially in a country where, you know, if you're not a certain race or a certain type of person, you're not seen as much, and you have to understand that you are way more than you are perceived. I think that we're always put down as people, and I think that it's time for us to really stand up and really understand that we are here and we're not going to leave because this is our home as well. And for the rest of the world, I think that in the same vein, don't be ashamed of your culture. Really, really embrace yourself and where you come from, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all we have. We just have family and where we're from. So, yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
man.
for sitting
Of
down
course,
with me.
dude.
This was
Yeah, this
such
was such a
a
great interview.
pleasure.
I really had a good time for sure.